we were dealing with the projectile motion and motion in general in 2D and 3D dimensions. So one small topic that was left out, I asked you to have a read which we'll finish today, is on safety parabola. Okay, right? So that reading assignment, I hope you have at least gone through once, right? So we'll try to quickly review that particular topic, because some of the questions that need to be solved today in the DPP would be requiring an assistance of knowing this particular concept. Even without this concept, you can still solve those problems, but it's just that it makes it an added advantage to you whenever you know this idea of safety parabola. So we'll just try to go ahead with that topic first, and then we'll start off the relative motion. Okay, right. So let me just put up the heading. So why is it called so will be revealed during the class. Okay, right. Right. So imagine there is a ground to ground projectile. Okay, right. So this is the horizontal ground like last week we used to have, and imagine this is the initial velocity vector along this particular direction. Okay, right. And the trajectory takes a course in this manner. Okay, right. So we all know that if the initial velocity vector has a magnitude of u and makes an angle, let's suppose you can use alpha or theta, it's right, just for fun. Let's try to take another symbol this time, alpha. Okay, right. This alpha is going to be varied across experiments in this particular logic. Okay, and it's going to hit somewhere. So if imagine the point O is fixed and the speed u is fixed, okay, but alpha is variable, then you end up getting a family of parabolae, right? This blue curve will change from experiment to experiment. So for any general alpha and given u, we already know if this was taken as x-axis and y-axis is vertically upward and O is the origin. If O is the origin, that means the launch point itself is taken as origin, horizontal as x-axis, then the equation of the path of the parabola is given by, just recall what we did last week, x into tan alpha minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square alpha. Right. So this is the equation of the parabola. Now we need to find those family of parabolae. That means this blue curve keeps changing, right? So I'll just go back to the previous diagram to give you a gist of how it could change, right? It could look like this. So different colors, as you could see, represent the different values of alpha, right? So you could see this yellow colored thing represents one value of alpha. The violet or purple one represents another, but all of these, let's assume, have same u. Okay, he's throwing it in other direction also, and it's not just in this, let's suppose, plane. It could be thrown towards our observer, right? So or you as you're watching through the screen, right? So it's like a 3D figure, right, of which, yeah, I'm presenting a 2D picture, right? So let's solve the 2D part and then extend our analogy to the 3D situation. Okay, so each of these will correspond to different values of alpha, I said, right? So what I mean is this one is related to alpha 1 and this one related to, let's say, alpha 2. All these are initial launch angles, so alpha 3, alpha 4, and so on and so forth. So that's the whole idea of generalizing this equation. So imagine I need a point, okay, in the previous figure, right? So x comma y, let's say, is a point. Now that point could be anywhere here, right? So I'll use a capital X comma capital Y. Now this is a general point which may or may not lie outside this particular region, right? So that means you could say if this particular point that is thrown is a bullet or let's say a missile, then are you safe or not is decided by whether the position of u, let's say x comma y, is lying outside this region or inside this region. This is what we are trying to investigate, and that's why the name safety is given. Okay, so if I substitute the value of capital X comma y into that, right? So let me rearrange before I substitute. So if I rearrange this and write on the sidelines the cos square alpha in the denominator is 1 by 1 plus tan square alpha, right? Because you can write it as secant square alpha in the top, right? And you end up having a rearranged quadratic expression which looks like this, right? So it would be gx square multiplied by 1 plus or tan square alpha, let's write tan square alpha minus 2x u square into tan alpha. I'm rearranging it, okay, plus gx square plus 2u square into y. This entire thing comes out to be 0. Okay, right. Now the so-called x comma y can lie on this particular curve that you have drawn if and only if there are some real roots for this equation. Okay, right. So there should be some real roots for this equation, right? So let's try to understand by taking the discriminant of this quadratic in tan alpha. So for this quadratic in tan alpha, the value of discriminant, let's write that name, discriminant. So delta is the symbol for the discriminant. Gives us following cases. Okay, right. So what are those following cases? If delta is greater than 0, then there will be two different values of tan alpha, that is alpha itself, right? Two different values of tan alpha means two different values of alpha for x comma y to lie on. Okay, so what it means is in the older picture, right? Can you see one particular point here? Can you see intersection of a pink one and yellow one here? This intersection, if that is your x comma y, for such a point, the next page equation will give you two roots. Two roots corresponds to this value of alpha and this value of alpha. So that's the idea of getting a delta x delta greater than or equal to 0. Okay, right, greater than 0, strictly greater than 0. And now you get a idea, if delta is less than 0 in the next page's quadratic expression, then you end up having the point having no real roots, then the point should lie outside. So the one that I drew just for generality actually should give you, if I substitute in that, the tan alpha quadratic should have no roots. So here no roots, here two roots, and points like this where it's almost having only one particular point, right? So where it touches only once, that particular point you end up having a discriminant equal to 0. So that's the whole idea. So you end up having, let me just, this is your case 1, right? This is case 1. So we'll go to the next page. In case 2, where delta is equal to 0, only one value of alpha for x comma y to lie on it. Okay, and case 3, if you want to highlight, delta less than 0, no value of alpha, satisfies x comma y, right? So if I want to highlight these on the picture that I have drawn above, so this is case 2 and this is, let's say, case 3. Okay, right? So what I meant is, for a point here, the value of delta is less than 0. Okay, and for a point here, this one, this is a position where delta would be greater than 0, and a point here, can you see, this is a position where delta would be equal to 0. So now delta becomes very important. So let's see what's the value of the delta in the next page. So let's go back. I'm talking about delta in this equation. Okay, so the value of the delta, so the value of the delta comes out to be equal to b square minus 4ac, right? So 2x u square whole square minus 4 gx square into gx square plus 2u square y. So this is your delta. Okay, so the critical case of delta equal to 0 gives us all points where x comma y lie on the curve. So what he means is, let's take collection of all points. Look at the figure now. This point, this point, this one. Many are there. I couldn't draw. I ran out of colors. So you could keep drawing. So there will be collection of all points which themselves form a locus, right? So that locus is this outside curve, which is nothing but the envelope of all family of parabola. All the family of parabolae are inside, and this would be called the envelope of it. So this outside thing is called envelope. So we are now looking at the equation of this envelope. Okay, right? So that equation is given by delta equal to 0 itself. Okay, so delta equal to 0 is the equation of envelope. Okay, and what does that give you? If you rearrange this entire equation, right, you could see there are some cancellations to be had, right? There is an x square here, right? If I equate this to 0 here, the x square gets cancelled and one x square gets cancelled. So it will be simply an x square and a y term equal to a constant term. Okay, so I'll rearrange the entire thing, right? And you end up getting y is equal to, I'll write it in a more familiar form for you, okay? So that you can recognize the shape of that curve. Y is equal to u square by 2g minus, you can check it out, gx square divided by 2u square. This would be the rearranged form of the delta equal to 0 condition, which is interesting. Please understand, envelope of all parabolae need not always give you something which is a parabola, but you realize that using the concept you arrived at this condition finally, and this is equal to y is equal to constant minus a constant times x square, again a quadratic expression, which means the envelope that you get here is also a parabola. Okay, so if you are outside this parabola you are safe. That's why this contour or this periphery or the envelope, I should call it as, it's also called as safety parabola. And the equation of safety parabola is this, right? And easier to remember this, that at x is equal to 0 you get the maximum height, right? And that is when you throw the particle straight up, that is for alpha equal to 90 degrees. Had you thrown it straight up, okay, right, had you thrown it straight up, then it should have reached a u square by 2g. So this point is always on the parabola, okay. And the second point that you can get easily is the maximum range in the horizontal direction, okay, right? So if you had thrown it at 45 degree, then it would go a maximum distance in this direction. So that you would get from y is equal to 0, which is nothing but u square by g. You could see if I put y is equal to 0 here, you get u square by g. So easily in the future, if you don't remember the formula also, I don't recommend again to remember the formula, just remember the concept of deriving the safety parabola. Then in that case, this point is easily known under a special condition, and this point is also easily known under a special condition. So you will have to be able to connect that these 2 points with the parabola. Remember, only 2 points is not going to decide the parabola, but if it connects here and here and here, then you know 3 points, and using 3 points in a plane, the parabola becomes a unique one. So using that logic, you can always arrive at this final answer. Okay, so this was the discussion that I want you to have under the concept of safety parabola. Okay, right. So how can you actually use this in any of the problems? Let's try to understand now. We'll take just one problem and then we'll move ahead. Imagine there is a inclined plane. So this is your inclined plane, and from the top of the inclined plane you are supposed to throw an object. So this object has to be thrown from the top of the inclined plane. It's a point object, okay. So, and this is the horizontal at a certain angle alpha, okay, right. Your speed value of u is already known and given. The height of the inclined plane, this is 90 degrees, is 7 meter, and the base of the inclined plane is 24 meter long, okay. And the bottommost point is B and this is A, okay, right. So the question is pretty simple. We have to throw a stone or an object or a projectile, whatever you want to call it. You have to throw a stone from A with a speed u, right, with a speed u such that it hits the bottom B. Okay, let's make it more interesting. At the start I said your u is fixed. No, let's not fix u also. You can throw in any direction with any speed. Okay, so both u and alpha are variables. Okay, so let's try to think that way. You need to tell me what is the minimum speed u min required to do so. Okay, so we have just made it more challenging. So instead of fixing the value of u, I am now varying the value of u. Please recollect that this problem has been solved already in the last week's discussion using the vector equations method. Remember, vector diagram method. So we are now looking at an alternative way of solving the same problem. So I expect you to do it in a slightly different manner. Okay, right. So go back to that video and try to see the alternative method that we have done last week, where G bar and S bar were taken cross product and right dot product, right? Remember? So we'll try to do it in a different manner. Taking AR as origin, the safety parabola equation passing through A will be, let's write the safety parabola equation. So it was fresh in our mind from the previous, otherwise you should derive actually. So the equation was y is equal to u square by 2g minus gx square divided by if dimensional you have to be right 2u square. So we write this. Now this safety parabola equation is the envelope of all the curves that you have possibly coming from A to B. Then B should at least lie on the periphery of that curve. Okay, so that means B should lie on the safety parabola. Okay, right. So for minimum condition, point B, now using A as origin, B would be downward, right? So it's a negative. So I'm taking this as X and this as Y. So B would be in negative Y direction and positive X direction. So I'll substitute at 24 comma minus 7 should lie on above safety parabola. So I'll just substitute, and in that case you'll get the minimum. Otherwise, if the point is lying inside, the u will change and you would get, yes, it will hit B, but you need to put more value of u. Okay, so the farther you go, you need to throw it at a greater speed. That's the simplest idea that we are looking at here. So you would have x is equal to 24 and y is equal to minus 7 substituted in that equation, and you rearrange, you would get u power 4 plus 140 u square minus 240 square kind of thing. Just right, I just substituted the value in that and I directly went to that step. So this is a quadratic in u. Right, so the value of that u comes out to be after minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, you would get root 180, and which is nothing but 6 root 5 meter per second. So this would be the minimum speed that would be required. Right? Let's make a small note. What is the corresponding value of alpha that you would require to have? Now, if I go back to pages, now whenever minimum speed is determined, you have talked about the point lying on the safety parabola, right? You're talking about the point lying on the safety parabola. So listen to me carefully. This is a kind of trick that I'm going to use. How did we get that safety parabola equation? We went back. We got it from this equation, right? The general equation. And it was a quadratic in tan alpha, if you remember. And safety parabola consists of a condition that delta would be equal to 0. Not this one. Let's go to that. Yeah, this equation, right? Delta equal to 0. So delta equal to 0 condition gives you the minimum u. Not only that, it pertains to a situation where tan alpha quadratic has equal roots. So if someone wants that value of alpha, then it follows from the capital delta equal to 0, which is, and you know, for any quadratic equation, if it obeys equal roots condition, the value of each of those equal roots is simply minus b by 2a. It's minus b by 2a. So I'll borrow value of minus b here divided by 2a is the required value of tan alpha. I hope I could impress upon you what I just said. Okay, so we'll go to that. The condition for u minimum required us to take delta equal to 0, which is a safety parabola thing, and that should imply the corresponding value of alpha or tan alpha should be that minus b by 2a. Right? Just write minus b by 2a. You'll understand this from the quadratic notation. So here tan alpha would be equal to, right, what's the value of minus b by 2a in that problem? Minus 2x square. That minus goes, so 2xu square divided by gx square with a 2, so 2 gets cancelled, so it is xu square divided by gx square. So what do you get? Xu square divided by gx square, or simply the value of u square divided by gx. Okay, so you'll just substitute x is equal to 24 into that, and the corresponding value of u will be substituted as this number. Okay. So that should imply value of tan alpha would be 180. That's why I wrote root 180, so that you can easily square it, divided by 10 into 24. So the final step, value of alpha is tan inverse of, I think 3 by 4 you get, so that's 37 degrees for this problem. Okay, he didn't ask what is the corresponding value of alpha, but in any future question, if they do so, you'll get this. So what I would like you to do is go back to this question and try to attempt it using the same vector method that I taught last week, in order to convince yourself that both these methods are trying to speak the same language. You're supposed to be able to get it in 2 ways. So the reason for teaching that one first is that is actually more easier to attempt in the exam. It would be very difficult to expect a student to remember this particular formula. It looks very short solution here, but I think arrival at this one itself required that entire sections that we wrote in the previous 2 pages. Okay, so that's the entire logic of the safety parabola. Just another method to add to your advantage.